All right, fig lovers, this is Ross, the Fig Boss. Today we are harvesting Breba. We're picking the Breba figs off of my fig trees. And if you're not familiar with what the Breba crop is, it's the first crop of figs that ripens on last year's wood or last year's growth. So if you actually cut back your fig trees too far, you actually will totally miss out on the Breba crop. Also, there's a lot of varieties that don't even produce Breba. So it's important, if you want this first crop of figs that ripens 30 to 45 days earlier than the main crop of figs, that you choose a variety that is suitable to producing Breba reliably. And I've actually put out an article on my blog, figboss.com. I'll put a link in the description. You guys can go there and read all about Breba figs, the varieties that produce them, and so much more information about Brebas. Now, one of the things that I didn't know about Brebas, and I've actually never read this online, to my knowledge, I don't remember if I have. I haven't read in any of the publications on figs, but the Breba crop ripens really all at once. I'm actually harvesting handfuls and handfuls of figs off of my trees. These are just Brebas. None of this is main crop. None of my trees this year, really for the most part, received any head start. So we're here in early July in the Philadelphia area. We're approaching mid-July, and the Brebas are just pumping out on the trees to the point where I have to be here actually every day or every other day, because there's very little time in between when these Brebas are ripening. Normally, the main crop will ripen consecutively over a period of 30 to 60 days. But the Brebas are ripening in a very short window. I mean, probably like 10 or 15 days. Again, I've never heard this written down somewhere, and all the expert knowledge I've read about, I've just never heard that discussed. And this is a good and bad thing. First of all, it's good because if you think about people who grow determinate tomatoes, they get all their tomatoes ripe at one time and they process them into sauce or paste, and that's quick and easy for them. But what if it rains? What if during that window when all your tomatoes, or what if all of your figs are ripening and it rains just constantly during that 10 to 15 day window? You're gonna miss out on your Breba crop. It's just not going to taste very good. You're gonna have to harvest them before the rain. You can't let them ripen properly on the tree, and you're gonna miss out on that really awesome fig eating experience that we all love. So I think this is a really important thing I just had no idea about. Let me show you guys some of the trees, because I'm telling you, I've harvested, all of these are Brebas, and I'm just ripping off fig after fig after fig on these trees. It's unbelievable how many figs are ripening at one time. This is a Longue fig, and I'll show you my Longue tree. Now, I had to harvest this because we are getting the remnants, I think, of Hurricane Beryl. At least we're getting some part of it in the Northeast. At least I think that's what's happening. And this is a Longue fig that is prone to lots of damage from the rain, but it is far from being ripe. But because it is ripe enough, it is somewhat soft, that because of the inch or so of rain that we're gonna get, that's gonna probably ruin this fig. So if I don't pick this, the birds, ants, squirrels, all kinds of things are gonna get to this, especially when you have them wrapped in these organza bags. The rain makes it even worse. You'll get fruit flies, you'll get wasps, you'll get beetles, all kinds of things. So you wanna be on top of this. You don't wanna leave rotting fruit or fruit on your trees that are just so sad. This is gigantic. I mean, this is, all of them look like this on this tree, and it's truly amazing what a fig like this could produce. This variety, Longue has produced so many Brebas this year. By the way, none of them are really ripe just yet, which is very strange. A lot of the other trees have been producing Brebas, or almost done. Look at the size of those. This variety is called eggplant, or melanzana in Italy, because the Brebas look like eggplants. They look just gigantic. This is 5 Breba right here, which, by the way, none of them are ripe just yet, and we're gonna get all that rain, and it's, you know, I'm feeling all their necks, because if they are advanced enough, I have to get them off the tree like I just mentioned. So it's you know, a good and bad thing with this tree. It's gigantic. The fruits are massive. Probably these Brebas are at least 100, 150, 200 grams. I would be guessing, I should get my scale out when we do the tasting, because that's what I'm doing. I'm gathering all the figs today to do a tasting just in a minute here. I might get my scale out and weigh these, because this is absurd. This is absolutely absurd. I wonder if it's gonna weigh more if it was truly ripe. But this, yeah, and they're all like that. Every single one of them is ginormous. So that's Longue. I think if you had a big tree of this that was old, mature, established, I mean, this thing's only been in the ground and it's shaded out by a lot of trees now at this point. It's only been in the ground for maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. This is like, what am I doing here? This is crazy. So if you can get them perfect, Longue, by the way, they're incredible Brebas. It's not just about the size. They taste phenomenal. But the sheer fact that they're so big and they're prone to more rain gives me pause for somebody that's going to get rain when they ripen. Now, the same thing can be said about this green Michurinska. I am getting handfuls and handfuls of these figs. We've already harvested close to 20 or so, 25, 30 figs off of this. These are all drying up on the tree. It's so warm here in July. It's very humid today. I'm sweating my brains out. And the same thing I could say for Moro de Caneva. Harvested all of the Moro de Caneva Brebas for the most part. They all ripened relatively at the same time, within like a 5-day window. Same thing with green Michurinska. And I'm just, again, I'm yanking these Brebas off. So to me, that was really interesting. I had no idea about that. And I thought, as I'm picking these, I might as well come in here and talk about it, because you know, this is just a very interesting phenomenon. And you can even kind of see it here with the main crop. They're not developed as far, and each one of the figs on here is developing at a different rate, because as the fig tree grows, it puts out new figs. So if you actually, you know, this is a perfect example. Look at this fig. Look how much further behind this is compared to a fig on the same branch right below it. About 3 or 4 or 5 nodes below it, it's like a difference of probably 15 days. Because of the growth rate, as the trees grow, they put out those main crop figs. But as the Brebas as the trees wake up in the spring, the Brebas are forming on the trees. So really, they're all forming at the same time, and that's why they're all ripening within 5 to 15 days. And that's why we're getting this phenomenon to happen, which is good and bad, as I mentioned. So, and that's the other thing. They're about 90 days after the trees woke up. 90 days ago, these trees were just getting started. And that's why I'm seeing them here ripen in early July to the middle of July. So thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, check out the blog post I mentioned on my blog, figboss.com. Catch you guys for the next one.